Oh, you're good, man. Oh, we're just happy you're here.
This is
We're just running the group, so, you know.
Yeah, I know. Where are we hiding the bodies? What's happening?
We're full of those.
Yes.
Okay, so if we're all here, then it's going to be here, we'll start. Holly, what were you saying? Overnight. Overnight, yes, we have a visitor who is with us, Miss Holly Overnight. She's a realtor. And so she's interested in hangers and learning things, so she's sitting in. So I think this is it for the formal group. And I've been corralled into running it again. So we do have some serious things to look at today, you know, and so we'll try to look through things as fast as we can. So first off, I think the agenda, Devin did actually send out an adjusted agenda because we do need to consider the issue of leadership, given changes in membership. We'll do that this year, there are 5 under new business. So let's start, if you like, with the minutes. And we should have 2 sets because remember we didn't have a quorum last time. So you've got January and February minutes. And if there are any questions or comments, corrections and things, now's the time. I've been in communication with Devin about a couple of things to just clarify, which I think you've seen in a couple of if we look at the January minutes first. Any comments, questions, corrections?
Second.
Okay, before we do, there's a couple of added things.
Back up.
Okay. If you look at the new business, we had the rather awkward situation that we, in good faith, voted to elect Jeff Benjamin chair. At the time, that was correct information. And subsequent to that, as you now probably know, we learned, we hadn't been told, Mike didn't even know either, till what, 10 days ago?
Yeah.
That he had actually resigned from UVA and therefore had resigned from this and had left town. We were too late. So the minutes as written for January were correct. So we don't go messing with them. But we do want to have a clarification. And so what I've suggested to Mike and to Davin on that is to simply put an asterisk and then put a note at the end of the minutes stating something along the lines of please see February and March minutes for clarifications following receipt of updates about Mr. Benjamin. Because if somebody looks at these January minutes, then they say, what are those people doing? They elected in every year, we're gone,
Yeah, but he hadn't resigned it.
Yeah,
He had,
it's effective immediately.
we just hadn't been told.
Not in the minutes, not in the minutes.
Yeah, he had already resigned.
He had already resigned from the board when we elected him?
No, I'm sorry, I'm confused. But when you received, when that letter was written that Mike forwarded, that was, he resigned effectively immediately at that point in time. February though, right?
Yeah, what he didn't do was notify us, so we in good faith went ahead and, voted him as chair. Yeah, so we don't change the minutes, because at the time, that was correct information we had.
But why would we need to say that in minutes anyway?
Because the minutes as they stood then were correct, but they're not correct until.
Correct,
what's
those 5
happened.
minutes now that reflect that, well.
That's why we're
with the
putting a note.
information that we have.
That's why we're putting a note. We don't have tiny footnote. That's the way you do it.
Just as a reference.
Yeah, it's just a cross reference. So anybody looking at them will see, okay, that the actual facts conclude in a subsequent meeting.
Okay.
Okay,
And since they hadn't been approved yet, I guess we could do that.
yeah,
Okay.
Just as a footnote, not
Yeah.
adding any.
No.
text to it, just footnote.
that's better than starting to mess with the actual
Yeah.
text of the minutes.
We can't change what happened.
No,
Yeah.
we won't change any of that. It'll
That's
just
why
be
we're
an
not
added,
changing the minutes,
I guess, a footnote.
because the minutes reflected what we did at the time.
You're you're just saying that we're doing this because we have not yet approved the minutes?
We're doing it because we didn't have the right information at the time. We actually.
We did have the
didn't
right
say.
information.
No, we didn't. We didn't know. We wouldn't have gone ahead and elected him chair for a year if we knew that he'd resigned.
Well,
We
then
just would hadn't come.
did he know what that meant?
Yeah.
Probably did.
Well,
Yeah, but we did.
We didn't know.
Yeah, it was a mess. It's, you know, so the cleanest way to deal with it is just leave the minutes the way they were, because they were written with the information that was correct at the time and thought, and then just add the footnote.
Yeah, and that's-
the
and
way
that's-
to do it.
That's why I'm okay with it, because we're just adding a footnote. We're not changing any of the minutes or any of the information in it.
Yeah,
Just for future reference, that if they ever go to a January thing,
yeah,
they can say, okay, we need to refer to this if we want to see this.
yeah,
But it's not adding any
no,
information to it that we did in our meeting, didn't do.
yeah.
we don't go back and do that when a bid changes, you know, we're not going back.
No,
We're
and
not going back to,
and I
you
see
know,
it.
when the old runway people are and putting a footnote in on
Right.
those minutes that,
You know,
hey,
because those are been.
as we learn more information, things change. That's why you have a historical record.
Whatever,
Yeah.
we elected him for a whole year.
We,
I don't know why you're making an issue of this. There's a simple way to deal with it.
I
And then
just,
it's done.
I just don't think it's necessary.
Well, you can.
It seems like it does help trail the record, like what Mike's talking about. If in-
That's how I see it. It's just a
It's
trail.
now separate from the documentation of what happened. This, maybe it kind of helps to trail.
As long as you don't change anything in the minutes
Yeah.
from that meeting.
They are, yeah.
Yeah.
Which is what you need to do to keep them through. So aside from that, any other thoughts on the minutes for January? Do I hear a motion to accept with that footnote added as separate but needed? Okay, Keith? Second?
I kind of agree with David, but I'll go with it in a second.
Who's in favor?
I abstain.
You're right down in the minutes, who's doing that?
Perfect. Historically, it'll be accurate.
Go on to the February minutes. If there's anything in there. Any questions, concerns about the February minutes? I actually just added some under the Lexington corridor update. Some extra words there on top of what Darren put. Just want to say that, you know, I want to make the point that this was not Davin's fault. If there was added information that come forward or anything else, Davin did a fine job on both these sets of minutes with the information available at the time. So. So for February minutes,
Motion to approve.
right,
Second.
okay, all in favor? Okay. Thank you. Okay. So then from now on, if you like, I mean, I'll continue working with you as best we can to keep things straight, you know?
Good, thank you.
Okay. So we're gonna go on to the manager's reports.
All right, thank you. Let's look at the financials. We've got a good February. We had a good basketball month. That's what it was. The charters were just endless, it seemed, you know, they were nonstop in the middle of the night. Some of the aircraft that were coming in were so big that we had to bring in a couple more folks, to handle them.
And then,
What time, I'm sorry.
oh yeah, like at A320, they, you know,
You had an A320 in here?
yeah, the Embraer 145s and the 737, you know, they come in, but a lot of times, you know, the baggage that they have is really manageable with the amount of people that we have here that we expect to have, you know. Well, this was kind of double duty. They had more baggage, so we charged them twice, you know, because of that. So, that happened a couple times. So our airport fees were really, really good, almost $70,000, you know, for the month. But again, you know, basketball season is good. You know, you've got the men and the women's collegiate teams, and then the opposing teams coming in as well. So it was good. Unfortunately, you know, we're not playing basketball anymore in Athens, so things will be kind of slowing down a little bit, but we've got baseball, softball, yeah, and all the good stuff there, and they fly. But our corporate aircraft, they're steady, and then you know, UGA, you know, a lot of the graduation and whatnot, that brings in a lot of folks too. But our corporate business has been doing very well outside of UGA business. The corporate's been doing real well. So we month to date, let's see, for February we did $437,000. Expenses were 331, and our total revenue minus expenses was 106. So we're doing very, very well. And as Keith, you know, we talked about, you know, we're on track, you know, for having a good year.
Yeah, I was just gonna, you know, we haven't really kind of paid a lot of attention, or I haven't drawn attention. Devin, could you full screen the financials and at least show the year-to-date section to the right there? Yeah, so, I mean, if you look at it so far, this year, this fiscal year, Mike is running the airport, Mike and his team, they're running 396,748 to the good versus budget. And the budgets are, you know, Mike, you generally take an annual budget and you just spread them
We do,
evenly through the months.
we do.
But you're so far on the revenue side, 396,748 to the positive versus your budget. So that's like 113% of that. So your revenue is up 113% so far year to date. Then if you go almost to the bottom, your expenses are below by 341,689. Or in other words, expenses are running only 89% of budget. So for year to date, your revenue is 13% to the good, and your expenses are down by 11%. Not sure how, you don't see a lot of organizations. Anyway, so that's great. So you're in the positive so far. That variance, call it profit, that doesn't include the money going into capital and those kind of things, but just looking at these, the revenues and expenses like you always have, you got a positive of close to $750,000, with possibility like last year of hitting or maybe exceeding $1 million, I guess.
Yeah.
So anyway, I just want to point that out. That's, you know,
Thank you. Yes, and you hit it. It's our team because, you know, everybody is so conscious of, number one, doing a good job and treating, you know, the customers well, but also making sure that we capture all of our revenues when they come in. And that's important because, you know, people come in, they land, we could easily miss somebody, but they're very conscious of making sure that the revenues are captured when somebody comes in.
your service.
And that's important too.
And Mike, just while we're on this, with the budget, is the budget for the next fiscal year 26 pretty much already set?
It is. Yeah, we upped it, because, you know, we go up with the consumer price index, you know, on hangers and things. So we went up on that. We did also go up a little bit, on some, fees, which what we're gonna try to do, which we've talked to other airports as well. I think I brought this up once, is we're gonna try to, increase fees during, special events like football games and
Right.
things like that. A lot of other, you know, collegiate airports, they do that. It's not gouging. It's just that there's a lot more people here. a lot more going on that we have to, pay for and this and that. So the landing fees will be increased a little bit, the ramp fees will be increased a little bit. The fuel won't be increased, that's just normal, but that other kind of stuff that where you have to service the aircraft and whatnot. With added personnel, that's where it'll come from.
When you set the budget, was it pretty much at the level that you felt was reasonable? You didn't have to
Yeah.
really adjust?
Yeah,
You weren't asked to go down places? up and down?
No.
Okay.
thankfully, yeah. What they like to see is, as always in the years past, I think that they always start where we are,
Yeah.
And then if I have to ask for more, then I do. I try not to, but if I have to ask for more, I do, in expenses. And then we have a meeting, with all management, we discuss that, which I had Davin and Russ also was there in those meetings. And, we discussed, anything. And what I had discussed, and I brought this up too, at one point in time, I wanted to add, an additional maintenance person and then also a, fire sergeant, to that, because I want to see the fire side be able to, move up in rank. And although they are the airport, when they were hired, under the ACC fire safety. But we're still, they're still an airport.
Yeah.
And so, so in order for them to see, promotions and whatnot, I needed to create something here, which, next year I'll probably do a lieutenant. And that way, we might not fill it, but at least it gives them an option that if you're fired after a couple of years, there is a lieutenant position that they can work toward.
Yeah, gotcha. So the maintenance position and the fire position are in the budget?
It is.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, we pitched it. Well, I told them what we needed and why we needed it. We'll just have to see if the mayor and commission approve it. I hope they do. We really need it. Maintenance, we definitely need that too. We only have one maintenance person. A lot of airports have two or three, and we just have one. We're doing what we can, but we have a whole list. Every day we do inspections out there. Every day, Port FAA, that's just a requirement. And then we have, it's computerized, where we can get on, a laptop or whatever and put in, what's out of this. A light's out, signs out, there's this or that. And the list at one time was like 2 pages. It was a lot, which that's liability. It could be liability for us. But we've got it dwindled down to about a half a page now. And it's very manageable. But we do put NOTAMs out, so that covers us as far as liability. But,
That's just Caleb doing?
Caleb, yeah. Mhm.
Is he still dual role line also, or?
No, if we ever need him, he will be, but no, he's strictly.
He's just good based.
Yeah.
Okay.
Doing a good job too.
Good.
Real
Nice.
good job.
Stand up guy.
Yeah, he is. He really is. He really, works hard.
Going back to the fee adjustment stuff, is that on all category class?
The adjustments being the consumer price index.
No, well, the ramp fees.
Oh,
All aircraft.
yeah, so we have it by weight, so yeah, the weight of the aircraft, the lesser weight is not so much, the more weight, it's more.
And including,
It's 1,000.
including the pistons down,
No.
down to,
We don't do the pistons, it's mostly the corporate aircraft.
so.
Like 312s.
Yeah, yeah, corporate jets, King Airs,
They're using,
yeah.
A whole lot more air, whole lot more of the, surfaces. up
Yeah, yeah,
high. So game days, you're speaking more towards the corporate charter
yeah,
stuff,
yeah.
not to the transit.
No, not the little guys. That's the way it will be throughout, When I first got here,
Yeah.
they were charging what, $10, $15?
$15 a night. for-
Yeah, I didn't see that. Yeah. And like,
Even no night. just, stop at the ramp and
Yeah.
not take fuel.
Yeah. I didn't understand that, so I did away with that. I didn't see good needing.
So no return to that.
No.
While I've been thinking of that, though, I know something we stopped. So if it was due to COVID or around the same time, speaking to game days, transit stopped doing the shuttling.
Yes,
So potentially as, you know, now that the environment concerns have dwindled, maybe that could be a revenue generator
yeah,
for
and
transit.
that wasn't because of COVID.
It wasn't.
No. What happened was,
Things kind of mush together when you go back.
yeah, it
30
does.
years.
It does. It was kind of a big, what happened was, I think they were charging, some of it was before I got here, but
Yeah.
I think they were charging, or we were charging. And paying them. Somehow they're federally funded too. And whatever they were doing, wasn't,
Got a foul of that.
yes, yeah, I guess they have standards they have to meet too with, you know, DOT. And, it wasn't, so they had to stop it. So,
Because they are federally funded transit.
yeah, they couldn't accept money. I think that's what it was. They couldn't accept money. We were getting the money, paying them. And so that would cover the cost, you know, the gas and
Right.
and the driver. But now they couldn't accept money because they're federally funded. And, so they were losing money. So they just said, we can't do it. And then then we tried to do it, you know, by hiring a van. We still took the money, we paid the van. That worked out good, but the vans were so small that people were waiting and waiting and waiting.
Might there be a way to tap into UGA directly?
We
For
tried
their
that,
process?
we tried that too.
Okay.
That was really what I did after ACC said they couldn't do it. And they said, you know, that's,
Not something there.
yeah, it didn't do that.
It is, because, you know, that is the challenge of arriving here.
Yeah. But you know, now with Uber, that was before really Uber. Now nobody really talks about it anymore.
Right.
They just take Uber. But I will say this too, and this was last year, I think we did this or the year before. But ACC, they have an on-demand bus route where you can just call them and they'll come out and pick you up. Well, that's what we utilized here. Now, they were able to do that somehow, some way. But we would call them up, say, hey, you know, we got a group of about 10 on demand, you know, come get them if you would and take them to the stadium, or they have a little drop off. So that worked out pretty good. And, so Victor, you know, who's the department head with the transit, he's a pilot too, as a matter of fact, learning how to fly. So, he loves the Air Force, so he's always willing to work with us. And that might be an option when I finish them.
Yeah. Getting to the stadium is not the challenge.
Yeah,
It's returning
yeah,
back this way.
but that's right.
Town is a wreck.
Yep, that is true.
And everybody's just, you know, scattering.
Yeah,
But
that's the way it is
yeah,
here too.
I was just, you know, thinking of, well, if you had thought to increase fees, maybe offset that with more
Yeah.
service.
Yeah, well, they talk about more service. What a lot of airports do is this, with some of the fees that they do increase. There's a lot of pilots that are just here. You know, there's no place for them to go. And what a lot of airports do, they take some of that money, you know, and they'll cater for the pilots. And they'll have, you know, TVs, like I'm thinking, you know, the meeting room over the commercial.
Yeah,
You know,
Columbia,
how-
South Carolina does it. You walk into the FBO and
Yeah.
they have an enormous spread
Yeah,
set, you know, on a game day, and it's incredible.
yeah. And that's what they do, because we talked to them. We talked to them in Tuscaloosa, and that's what they do. And they fund it by that. Which, you know, if they're gonna help pay for some revenues, why not help them out a little bit?
Right.
No.
Right.
Have a nice big screen TV for them to watch, you know, that kind of thing. So anyway, yeah, we've been thinking about that too. That's one. Heidi, so any questions, any more questions on revenue? Thank you on that. And,
Next one.
we, are still working on, Taxway Alpha, but, those are just the little bitty items that we have to finish up. Really what it is, we weren't happy with the three retention ponds out there, draining. And so we asked them to come back and kind of finish that up a little bit, where it's draining a little bit more. So they came out this week. They'll probably be here next week too. No, I think they'll probably finish it up this week, actually. Came out last week and finished it up this week. And then after that, everything should be, pretty much done with Alpha. We, currently have, bids out right now on Bravo, Taxway Bravo. Gonna open bids this, Thursday, I believe. We're excited about that one. That one, we had a pre-construction meeting in here about 2 weeks ago and, had some good folks, some good, contractors that came in. Hopefully they'll bid on it and we can get that price down. It's a good price that, that GDOT, will be happy with, and us too. The, parking lot, we haven't really done a whole lot of design. I know they're working on it, but it's not completed yet as far as the design because we've been working heavily on Bravo and trying to get that going. We do have, our ARF truck, the, aircraft rescue firefighting truck that, we want to purchase. We've got the proposal, GDOT's given us a grant, partial grant. And, so I've got that in front of the mayor and commission to vote on at the April 1st.
What are you asking them to put in?
Well, the FAA's got about, 800 and some odd $1,000 that they're gonna give us, kind of a phase one.
Mhm.
And, I asked, I went in front of the SPOS committee, SPOS 2020.
Yeah.
And they approved, for us to get, some additional money that I needed until we could get the remaining funds, released from the FAA, which is about 295,000, I think, out of our SPOS. And then about 48,000, which will be our share.
Mhm.
GDOT will have a share of 48,000 as well with this 881,000. So with that money pool, we'll send that to the manufacturer and, it'd be a good deposit, which will give us a great discount. About a little over $50,000 discount. And, but as I mentioned before, it's a 2-year bill. So, it's gonna take a while. So within that 2 years, we'll have, another wave of money, actually 2 or 3 waves of money that I can repay SPOS, because I told them I wanted to repay it. Because I want to use that in other projects, down the road. And, then also, have it, to finish the payment on. So it's a good project. I'm excited about that. I did, I can't remember. I think I made a presentation to the T-SPLOST in 2026. And, that was a good presentation. I normally don't get flustered, when I'm speaking and all, but I was flustered on that one because they were strict on time, and I had so much I wanted to say. I had a presentation, which, I practiced for 10 minutes. They won't give you 10 minutes. Then I got that green light, yellow light, and red light. And I'm telling you what, once that red light,
Did
they
they
shut
start
you
playing
down.
you off the stage?
They will shut you down. They say, oh, that's enough. Okay.
So that's the T-SPOS committee.
Yes, it
Yeah.
was. Yeah, it was. Brand new committee for T-SPLOST. Great bunch of folks. It's everything we need. It's what has worked for us in the past with, the 2020, the 2018. We take, the money and we put it toward our shares, so we always have that available. GDOT FAA love that because, if something comes up, we can say, yes, we got them. Some other things I got in there, is the T-hanger bill, because we need T-hangers. And so, you know, it's kind of interesting she's here because, you know, they're in the hangar business thing. But I did ask for some money in this splosh to build some T hangers because, you know, we just can't realistically, you know, build it ourselves and, you know, charge an enormous amount, you know, so, that'll be in there as well.
Because they actually turned that down the previous one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
was that a T hanger? I can't remember. I know that I had the path, you know,
They turned both of them
yeah,
down.
yeah,
They were focused elsewhere.
yeah. Now, this is good because it's a lump sum like it's always been. And one of the things I also added to that, which is really neat, and I'd like to see, is the EV you know, that electric takeoff and landing area, you know, that we can build, you know, at least we'll start with some of that money. And, because that's, you know, that's something that's coming down the road real quick. So, but anyway, that's my capital improvement project update. Any questions on that?
So Michael, the eVTOLs and that, so you're expecting they're gonna be taking off and landing more vertically and not using runways?
Yeah,
Is that-
yeah,
okay.
yeah. Yeah, if you get on the website at Archer,
Yeah.
yeah, I don't know if you've seen that, but yeah, get on that and you'll see how they are. They're in Covington, but there's many of them out there, but that's one of them that,
Kind of like the Osprey aircraft?
Yeah.
That's one way to do that.
yeah.
Successfully, man.
But these don't tilt. They're
They just
just,
had some issues over here.
yeah, they sure have. Marketing and outreach activities. Davin, you wanna say anything about that? You've been doing a lot of work on that.
I think the only thing that's new is we've got a tour from Gaines School Road that'll be coming in April.
What about Teller? Any updates?
Howard, yeah, let me think, been talking to them, which I'd like to get with you, Mac, on that too. They're talking about 4 towers, 4 additional small communication towers, like what we have out there.
Yeah.
But the tower, they say, and I just learned this last week, the tower, they say, won't hold those antennas, the communication antennas that a tower needs. So they need about an acre to put these 4 antennas. That's kind of my understanding, you know, and I really am running out of room. So I'm trying to talk to them, like maybe they could put it next to the 4 that are over there already, which I think communicate to Atlanta Center, you know, the tower
Yeah.
and all that, the radar thing. But, so, you know, it's all Greek to me, some of it is, but maybe you and I can sit down, we can talk about that.
I would be happy to.
Yeah, that'd be good. Yeah, he just contacted me the last week on that. But yeah, so as far as the tower, still no change as far as the timeline, still looking at a couple of years. But they are moving along. I don't think they've started design yet on that, but, I don't know where they stand on the hiring of the, engineers for design, because they talked about having to do that first. I can find that, but you. So I had.
Any questions or comments from Mike or any reports? Okay, well, thanks, Mike.
Thank
Really
you.
interesting.
Appreciate it.
All right. Well, we'll skip on ahead on old business. The update is usual brief for the elections and all the projects and those T-Splosh projects. They are actually into the surveying phase now, where they're surveying the strips along the highway, including the concept plans, and also working with Peter. If you've seen the bypass interchange, it's moving. Some of it is kind of moving ahead, but it's still a mess, but some of the traffic is growing better than it did before. Because now they've created the on-ramp to the bypass.
You know the target for that opening?
I'm not sure what it is.
I don't know.
It's in there, you know, plans, but, you know. And then these little projects, you know, are just kind of moving along slowly, but they are at least moving along. Appreciate Derek actually letting us know.
Yeah, he's pretty good, I like her.
Yeah, so, just a small update. I don't expect anything major until we get to the next round of all these teach lost and lost things, because they're starting to roll them all together,
Yeah,
you know,
yeah, I agree.
so. All right, so actually, any questions about the Lexington corridor projects? I'll just keep you posted as we trundle along behind them, you know? So. Okay, new business, as we said, we need to consider the authority leadership, as you know, Clay did tell us in person when he was here, we did the last meeting in November. And if any of you've seen him since, position of vice chair, sort of down it, but now you said you spoke with Jean Sprackler, who said
Yeah.
that she wanted to just leave that.
Yeah, Devin did, I think.
Oh, okay,
Gene said just leave, Craig's.
great.
Right, yes.
Until, I guess, the next round,
It'll be July 1.
yeah,
Yeah, so we'll have 3 new positions in July 1. All 3 of those are currently
yeah.
accepting application nominations for those positions.
So according to the bylaws, the next real vote will be in January, because that's when chair and vice chair is supposed to be elected. And so his is just gonna, that position of the vice chair wait till January.
Is that in the bylaws? I know we talked about, maybe changing that to June, July
Yeah.
rather, to coincide with when
Yeah,
the election comes.
we haven't changed it yet, but we have talked about that, because it's crazy having them disjointed by 6 months.
So is that not something that we can, make a decision on?
We can, but it has to go to the mayor and commission for approval.
Does it?
Yes, we do.
If it's not in the bylaws, you can do what you want.
Well, you can put it in, which is then a change to the bylaws, and then they, ask them to approve it.
But is it in the bylaws?
Not that we changed it, the way that the bylaws still say January.
Oh, it does, it's in the
Yeah.
bylaws, okay.
So, we don't have to worry right now about the vice chair position. If somebody needs to run the meeting like today, one of us will step up and run this vice chair. But we do need to consider the chair. So, we call to discuss about position of chair.
So this would be, let me just make sure I'm sure, is it, temporary chair until, July or
Till
next January?
January,
Okay, all right.
Would be into-
So this would be full chair.
Fulfilling the vacated role.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Rest of-
Remainder of it.
rest of,
And so that, one good thing about that, it gives we've got new, half the authority is gonna be new. It gives them some time to learn and all of that. So when we have, the positions come up in, January, we may or may not have some brand new ones or maybe we have
yeah,
and so forth. And some of us who are, well, trying to retire off and everything.
yeah.
Yeah,
So January is still the sort of formal election time to be square with the bylaws. Already we paid into them, both of the guys.
so whatever we select as far as who's gonna be the chair from
Into
through
between now and January.
January, same with vice chair, needs to do it this full 8 months or whatever it is, so.
And in the past, brand new people, we've all been through this. In the past, the pattern has been that when we joined, when you and I joined, the first sort of formal role beyond just being a member would be to join a committee, and then they would take the chair of the committee. And then after that, another step would be to be vice chair or the chair. We've all gone through that. I don't know, David, if you did when you first joined 8 years ago. But for the last, 4, 5, 6. Okay. That was the pattern. So somebody coming in brand new or only been here less than a year or something, the first thing would be to say, well, a good way to learn would be to join a committee and to start learning the ropes through that committee, take responsibility and leadership.
I'd love to see back on the operations, Dave,
Now, one thing we've got to think about is
I
that
think you'd be great on that.
your term ends on the 30th of June. So it's not only you will lose, but we will.
The entire committee. Yeah.
Committee of one,
Yeah.
committee of the whole.
Yeah.
But we'll also lose the chair of the committee that was central in working with the planning department on these proposals and stuff.
May I make a suggestion too, that, Craig, Jeff, we're on your committee.
Yeah,
If it's okay with Matt, can Matt be on your committee now? So when he gets to that point, he can check.
I
Can you do
would
that favor?
say,
Do you wanna be,
Sure, I'd be glad.
I'd be glad to be on my committee
I
now?
would love,
plenty of two.
unless you'd like to just meet by yourself.
Well, I mean, I would say that'd be a really good thing to do, because what you can do is between now and June the 30th, if you're really, as far as David is, able to, or willing to, is to really learn the roles and all the background that goes with it. So that when David leaves, then you'll be the chair, and some of the new people could be put on the full committee as committee members. They're also gonna have to do a lot of learning. But it would be an obvious first step for you, since you've already joined a couple of months ago.
Mike, you scored good on that one. You got another suggestion?
Oh,
Well, I'm thinking here about, the comments regarding the bylaws and the election cycle, and I agree, the disjointedness becomes a pain point when I think like what we faced with Grant, where, his chair term was cut short by his position on the board and on the authority.
Yeah,
However, it comes at a benefit when we have new members who are learning and understanding what, if we have an election in July, well, that doesn't really help, and moving it at any point. So maybe the right change to the bylaws are something that somebody in their final year of a term cannot see, one of those positions
yeah.
to remedy them
So we're not.
in most, so,
Yeah,
right,
risk.
so we don't have risk.
Yeah.
Right, and then, don't know if the bylaws even need to be changed, or that's just becomes, board policy, and then that may circumvent the need to change bylaws again.
We'd have to probably check with Jean. I remember when I first came on, I took on the task of cleaning up the language and a lot of things in the bylaws that had become out of date or whatever. And I know that I had to work with her, and I had to go to the mayor and commission, but I just a list down. They've got so much to read, they didn't get it. But they did need to sort of say, okay, fine, these revisions are updated. So, okay, so I mean, I think, if you're willing to serve on that ops committee, I think that would be a very good way to say that's a logical step, that's gonna be a critical need. And it's sort of, not to shoot you at the door, two birds with one stone, but it's actually that's the only committee that really needs to have an active chair who has a lot of knowledge.
I mean, I'm not gonna toot my horn at all. The knowledge is certain. Anybody can certainly take on what that planning does a phenomenal job of laying everything out succinctly. If you've read the ordinance, and the new ordinance has helped tremendously with, what it is we do. We're mostly here to review. Forecast out, is this likely, your airport experience, you'll have an idea of,
Yeah,
is this a mountain or? That's really based on.
Well, but you've also worked, on procedure and how we get our recommendations. Then remember we had that little meeting with Greg Griffin where we tried to say, all right, we're not going to just send a canned postcard, but we're trying to work with you. So, I mean, there's also context, that if you really, if you want to read up on some of the reports in terms of the corridor development and where there's been 10, 20 years battle about the airports, that sort of thing. I mean, it's it's an interesting undertaking.
And David does have a lot of knowledge in that,
Yeah.
which I've learned a lot from David too.
Okay,
I don't know.
so,
That you can pass on.
It's been 7 years.
I got files too.
So let me make sure I'm square on. So are you proposing that not only as the chair of the, what we were suggesting earlier as far as the people who can't be on, leadership roles in the last year. Are you suggesting, pretty much all the committees and the chair of the, airport authority?
You know,
Don't serve on
maybe
the-
less important for the chairs because we got, like, we should have had this call, probably.
Yeah.
It just so happened that, with Craig and Jeff, falling off one by one, but that, that wouldn't have been an issue if they were still here to
Yeah,
carry the torch and
Right.
say, yeah, I'll take over that position.
well, we just sort of realized.
Right,
okay,
it was
it's
like,
not just two
oh,
we're losing, it's
okay.
actually three.
Right,
So it's.
all from one committee.
Yeah. So,
The operations. We're out.
okay, another question then procedurally is, I mean, I guess we can vote. If you're in agreement, we go through a motion and a second and a vote to put you on the committee. Now, there's one step. And then that's taken care of.
Okay,
So I
So
think we should.
let me hear a motion to aggregate the point. So we'll say Keith is moving. Second,
second.
okay, David, second, all in favor of placing or appointing or anointing Matt to be member and chair, member of the committee. Ops committee, all in favor?
So I probably shouldn't vote.
Oh, you did vote. Yeah, and then when David leaves, I guess you'll be sort of sliding into the chairs. And then I think we can talk about those new people, whether you want to put all of them on that committee or, one or two and one or two randoms.
Yeah.
So that's two taken care of. The vice chair we don't have to worry about right now. We will set you on the committee, and then there's the issue of the chair. So your pleasure.
Yeah, so the way, it's all up to you folks. I don't vote, but the way I see it is, we're gaining three people, losing, you, a lot of knowledge. I think it's important for us, and Matt could take it on right now. I know he do a good job, but I think it's important for us to have somebody like Diane or Keith right now that has the knowledge, been here a while and can carry us through, and take these new folks, and educate them a little bit about the airport, because it's not so much the operations side, that's something you all can do and I can do too. It's more of the procedures, that I'm sure, Max still learned. So I would love to see like either Diane or Keith chair or vice versa vice, for now.
Motion, Diane.
You beat to the punch.
Take you long.
Clarify if you wish. I think it's probably necessary.
I think it's real important, like Mike is saying, as far as the rules, make sure we're not doing something that's gonna create issues with the city or whatever.
And when you get new people, we're not a true authority, and people have to understand it. And I know that Diane, you've been really good at it, but Diane's been really good about educating them. That among other things, that they have to know,
We're gonna have a classroom of them this time, basically.
Yeah.
Well, when the last four people, Keith, Jeff, who else, Grant and Craig came, I spent hours and hours with them, and as you know, with a whole pile of materials and went through, all kinds of, like a really big overview. And I had to do that for myself, nobody did that for me. I didn't do it with you because I wasn't chair.
Well,
You know. And
Jeff gave me some documents, but I'd already written this down.
Yeah. So it's actually really important so that somebody new coming on doesn't start, getting the wrong idea about what we actually are able to do, what our wherewithal is and isn't, and so on, and what the context is for the last 20, 30 years. There's some threads in history that people need to understand.
Yeah, so it seems like that for us as an authority, one of the top priorities for us to get right in this coming rolling year is, 3 new members,
Yeah,
getting the various positions in place, getting everything set, make that a success.
Well, I have asked Keith if he would not serve as chair. We've had long conversations.
Well, no, that's why I was motioning for.
I feel like I'm watching.
Diane is chair. And she's, and Diane is not taking that as
I feel
a,
like you tried to volley back to him first.
I just want you guys to know that I'm not standing here saying, right, I'm the one.
I'm just thinking how the rules of order is supposed to work. You know, tossed it to you, and you're supposed to, look for a
Love
second.
it back. Well, I just wanted them to know that you.
Right, yeah.
Conversations, and
Yeah.
I think very highly of Keith. I've always valued all of your dedicated hard work and input, and so, but Keith has said that he wishes not to be chair. So what's next? Anybody want to make a motion about anybody or anything?
You made a motion
Yeah,
already.
motion for Diane as chair.
Okay, so, motion is,
Diane is chair for the next term.
okay, and Mac, you're seconding, okay. So I have to ask for all in favor? Any opposed? Abstentions? Cries for help? All right, gentlemen, I suppose you're stuck with me for another few months. Part of that is, you know, I take the job very seriously. And I guess, when these three new people come on board, you know, if I'm chair, you know, I'll plan to sit down with them, probably in this room for some hours, like I did with Jeff and Keith and others, with a pile of documents and other things, and go through. And then if you wanted to sit in, you're welcome to, even if you've seen some of the, and actually, Keith, you asked me, you know, I had quite a long list of documents and things that we went through. Some of those I'll probably edit out because now they're points or things have changed. But anyway, I guess this is where we are. So this is interim chair until January. Okay.
Everybody's interim in Athens-Clarke County.
Yeah, I mean, good enough there. Check it on a board. So, all right, well, I'll thank you for
Doesn't speak
that.
much to Davin's job security.
Or maybe it does.
So in January, we'll do it over again, yes, or we'll do what we tried to do in good faith in this January, and that is make the interim people formal. So I'll only make you one promise, and that is if I'm gonna leave town, which I'm not likely to, or resign, I will let you know. So when it's still not together, you'll find us 4 months later. Okay, so let's move on to the standing committee and update some things that I know Keith's got a couple of things there. Keith, it was the last stage, shall I say, the last minute fact sheet business.
Yeah, let's just,
And strategic plan.
right, yeah, just on the fact sheet, here, I think I'll tell you what, we'll take one and, pass the others around. I've got just enough for us here only. And this is basically what we're looking at is hopefully the final one, fact sheet. I printed these out at home, so ignore these were printed by me and folded by me, so ignore the offset of the folds there, not properly done. This is not done by Allison in Rome.
So that's which way we folded it. This
is
which way to fold it.
Yeah, this is what Allison confirmed, yeah.
Sorry,
Okay.
sorry to interrupt you. We need to add that to the agenda. Fact sheet. Just again, to be complete.
Yeah,
Not,
yeah, it's not on that. Yeah, we got strategic plan review, which
And we
will,
need to just say,
and-
fact sheet.
in fact, be review. And I was
Yeah.
hoping this might be kind of brief, just based on a number of discussions, but the one correction that I know we got on here is on page 5. If you can read my handwritten 5 at the top of the page. That should be a plural connections, that should be critical connections.
Yeah.
And I know there may be some other things, but there's hope that we can go ahead and proceed with this. I know I sent this to Maggie and Davin and everything, unless you had anything major for right now. We're hoping,
a comment, and
Yeah.
Mike may object, but I thought we were gonna put his name on the front of this somewhere. Did we say that?
We did somewhere, didn't we? Yeah.
Is his
Oh.
name on here somewhere?
His name is on page 4 under
Oh, okay.
employees. Yeah,
Okay.
I thought you were kidding. I thought you were.
No, no, I thought we were gonna say like Mike Matthews, director on the front.
Yeah,
Yeah.
That's actually where I thought as well. when
Can we
I-
put him in the pilot seat, just like a little
I like that.
picture? Yeah,
Seriously now.
Have him waving out the
Like-
window.
what do you call it, Easter eggs? Like,
Yeah, that's right, yeah.
All right.
No,
call to order.
I thought that's what we'd said, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I had down to put here at employees, but if you think that's important to do,
That's an option. The only other obvious place would be to put it where the actual logo is
Okay.
and the airport name.
what do you think, Davin? Fairly easy to do, just to, put that, leave the, so on page 4 of the employees, we'll just have the row that's 8 full-time and then 14 part-time. And then below that, where it had, Mike and Davin, y'all will be on the front page of the paper, basically.
Yeah.
I guess, probably below, Mac's suggestion on below where it's got the, web addresses.
Yeah, well, I would put it, yeah, I would put it above, I put it right below the 2 logos,
Yeah.
Yeah,
above the
okay.
address.
Yeah.
And you have Mike Matthews.
Kind of like a business card.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Okay.
and then I think you just said, Keith, under employees, we just have the numbers and types. And we can delete their names from that section.
So you just going to put Devon as well on the, front?
So,
What do you think, Mike? Put Davin also, or?
If we put, yeah, I mean, yeah, we could put Davin. It might make more sense just to have your name though.
Me?
Yeah,
I
I was
think that,
thinking Russ too, but
Yeah.
that may be too many.
kind of leaning that probably makes, I mean, if you're, I think that probably
Yeah.
does make most
Okay.
sense.
Yeah.
I wouldn't put it like that. He is the
we
director.
can leave that under the employees.
Yeah.
You got that, Davin? So that's, I take it that's the only changes,
Could you, under employees, could you put Russ, or could you put Davin first and then Russ as the operating supervisor and then put me on the front?
Yeah.
And that way, you know, because
Yeah.
that's really the
I like that.
management team is
Yeah.
Davin and Russ and myself.
That's good.
Okay.
So the lady in the tower is not one of the employees?
No.
I know, we're separate
Yeah.
company.
Okay. I think aside from those two little bitty changes, little additions, it really is ready to go.
I think so.
yeah, that's what,
Yeah, I like it.
This- you know, this
It's really
looks,
nice.
yeah.
this is a big improvement.
Yeah.
David, anything else?
Yeah.
Okay, everybody?
I think, you know, this horse is ready to go.
So we were gonna have a discussion, we discussed a brainstorming session, if you remember. I would propose that we put that off, because we've had a lot today, we still have a strategic plan. I would propose we put that to the next meeting. If y'all are okay with that?
Of
The
what?
discussion of how to get this out to the world, just any ideas on where we can, that's right, distribution, how we can, us as members, if needed, help with that. Just kind of a brainstorming thing. Davin, if you could, if y'all are in agreement, if you could put that on the next agenda. And I guess, Davin, if you can get with Allison about this, we're ready, and you'll see she assigned the QR code there.
Yeah.
Just, as it is right now, it goes just to the main web page, I believe, right now. I think that's what she said. All right, you
Actually,
think,
one thing, don't you think, you know, when you mentioned that, and we said something about making a list of all the possible places to distribute.
right, yeah.
We ended up making a sort of informal list, but would you like to have people send or bring, you know, suggestions to the next
I
meeting?
think that'd be good, like have their suggestions, yeah, it's,
You know,
yeah.
we should- The tentative list to keep,
Yeah,
you know, and because some of you, they're gonna be your decisions about who you do and don't
Yeah.
go to.
Yeah.
Davin and I work here.
but,
Okay.
and we will want to make a decision about how many copies made, based on what we're gonna be doing, so we'll hold on that, I guess.
regarding the QR code,
Yeah,
perhaps making that dynamically changeable. Right now, right now, this will always go to flyagent.com. It may be worthwhile to go to like URL shortener service, like Bitly, or you know, see those links where you can change the target after the fact. So,
Okay.
so if there was, you know, the whole strategic plan PDF, it would go to that document. It's, you know, down the line, it could always go to just fly agent,
Yeah.
but then on the back end, it gets scanned and repressed.
Oh,
Go better need.
That's a good idea.
So Keith, where that's folded,
Don't worry about the folds, they're not,
okay,
It's not a professional
at
folder.
home, right, I did this, I printed these, and it's all,
I see your social media and all that artwork, and you couldn't even hold on.
artwork is different from, hey, art is different from doing this.
okay.
I don't know, you stretching your own canvases?
I just like to say, Keith, you've done a lot of work on this, and it's say, how good it is. I am personally, and I think everybody is, and Davin and Allison, I know you guys have done a lot of work on this too. So
Yeah, yes,
thank you to
Thanks,
everybody.
Mac, yeah, appreciate you and
It's
all
come
of
an
you,
extraordinary way from.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah. despite being older.
And there's still a ways to go.
So is this the kind of paper that would be printed on, or you have?
Probably more of a glossy.
Yeah, probably glossy,
Yeah.
and the stock would be a little thick, like, that's pretty thick, isn't it?
Yeah, this is thick, but
Yeah.
yeah, I think the glossy would be, it's not that much more expensive, but it looks,
Yeah.
it gives it a more of a
Yeah.
professional.
I
Not that
agree.
this isn't professional.
Yeah,
You have that? Davin?
Yeah, yeah.
Floppy and, okay. Yeah.
all right, that's that on that, ready to talk, go through the strategic plan. Then, whenever you're ready, bring it up, and then we'll go through that as usual, come to the airport and kind of preview for about 20-30 minutes with Mike and Devin, which we did yesterday for this. So if you have any questions as we go through, though, just feel free to stop us. So, we've kind of talked about this already, so this will be, it's been a while since we've updated, it was back in October, actually. And, we try to do the reviews once a quarter. And then Mike, you said in this upcoming fiscal year, the city's updating strategic plans. So we'll be doing kind of an overall update of this. We've done some tweaks, especially things that have completed, but we'll be doing more of an overall adjustment to this for the new year
Yeah,
at some point.
yeah, this runs out, in what, 2026?
Yeah, yeah.
So we'll have to get back
It
together.
was ways off, yeah. So, goal one area is airport infrastructure. Mike had some updates already on relating to some of these items. So strategy 1-1, repave and improve, runway 220, the taxiways and terminal aprons. We updated some dates here. Taxiway A and, connecting taxiways. I think, Mike, you're saying, that's really just pending the work on the ponds, is that right? And so you
Yeah.
feel, and I think you said next week, that should be completed in March.
Yeah,
Still yet,
yeah.
okay?
Taxiway itself.
Yeah, that's done.
Yeah.
It's being used and, yeah, and all accounts, it's really done.
Then, 112, design additional, terminal apron, target to complete that construction by this year. Like you were saying yesterday, that's
Yeah.
the new date there, December.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, go ahead.
It says design additional, so we.
I'm sorry,
Is
design.
the design gonna be done by this number or the?
That is the design,
Yeah,
not the
that's just the
construction.
design,
Okay.
yeah.
I totally missed that.
No, that's
Thanks
what
for, yes, catching that. Yeah, well, you're right. We'll have a number of these targets may be for design, some may be for
Yeah.
completion, construction. 113, rehabilitate and overlay runway 220, that's been completed. 114, rehabilitate and overlay taxiway B. That one is, to complete construction, right, Mac?
That is,
Yeah.
yeah, it's construction.
Strategy 1-2, clear obstructions, install airport perimeter fencing. 121 was clear the, ROFA and increase safety, that's been included, completed for a while. 122, install fencing to increase security and so forth. We expect now to complete all of that by February of next year. 1-3, increase parking capacity, build a new parking lot, shooting for design this year, this December. Strategy 1-4, construct a transient corporate hangar. Design the hangar by, next year. So the transient corporate hangar.
Yeah, that's, that relates to the tower
Yeah.
coming down, Gold Tower coming down.
And as we've said in the past, we don't have goals directly for the tower because that's not under our airport's full control. Goal, anybody, anything on goal one before we go into two? Well, yeah, go
My
ahead.
question for Mike about the corporate hangar. Can you go ahead and work on design even, once since you know where it's gonna be sited and everything?
Yeah. Yeah, we can work on that and then just have it ready for when the time comes. I was talking to Keith, RSNH only has so many people kind of allotted to us, I guess. And so they're working on the Bravo, they're working on designing anyway for the parking lot. Yeah. Yeah, and next will be, I guess, well, next will probably be what we talked about was the ramp area out front here. Really need that. We also, there's a extension of Taxiway Bravo that will be doing a parallel. But so all of that, we have to
That's a
kind
lot.
of, but one thing I did talk about, when we do build that hangar, I would love to see a restaurant on top of that for observation, but that's a great. Yeah. Then, doing our, yeah, yeah.
Goal two is mainly about, getting commercial service. Also related to cargo service, here at the airport. So right now, we're reviewing this, strategy 2.1 is recruit established air service. Things are kind of on hold, right, Mike? I mean, you're doing all the things and the initiatives there, but it's just ongoing right now. We can't lock into it.
I'm still talking to some folks and but I'm not quite ready to talk about it in public, it's ongoing.
2.2 is, provide enhanced charter services to increase employment by 50% from 3,000 to 4,500. And grow further. And we talked about this yesterday. Mike was saying, Mike, you may want to kind of take it from here. You can't really measure all employments.
Yeah.
And so we could be understated. If you can't measure it, you can't really manage it and, have it here as a measured item. So what we talked about in brainstorming for 30 seconds was instead use maybe the airport fees dollar amount. Is that what we were saying?
Yeah, we
Go
discussed
ahead.
that because, right now, the employment numbers that we get from the FAA are really just, it's limited to when TSA is here and they're working like a football team. They usually don't work, basketball or anything. We keep track of those employments, but, we're not, it's not official really, and we're not, we just have a hard time, keeping up with who's on, how many are on what airplane, each time. So then we talked about, okay, well, how can we? And we said, well, the revenue, we handle all those airplanes. So if that airplane's here, we're getting revenue for it or from it. And maybe that would be a good way to account for, that. Planes or charters, I guess, however.
So, and just talking, if we did that, I just calculated, say if the target now was say 5,000 roughly, just trying to think 5,000 employments. And if say I'm not sure where we got that 400,000, I know I probably said it, airport fees there in green, 400,000.
Yeah, that's the budget that we have for next year.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's 400,000 divided by 5,000 employments, say is $80 an employment. Is that kind of reasonable?
And right now, actual year to date is 418,000.
Yeah.
In airport fees. So,
Right, yeah.
But that's not all charter derived.
No, it's not. No, which he said, I think Gavin said he could decipher that.
You could separate out charter.
Well, we can't separate a charter.
No, you can't.
Yeah, not that I'm aware of.
Okay. Yeah, I don't see how you could.
And the employments figure is not capturing, all of the, that's only capturing charters that are 30 passengers and above.
Right, yeah.
So anything below that.
Terminal stuff,
Yeah.
any wheels up stuff out of here.
Yeah.
So you can't really divide it out and figure it, yeah. So do we stick with, Mike, with, and you're suggesting in this one, that 221 increase airport fees to what would be the budget, which makes sense if that's what's gonna be in the budget for, say, 2026 is forward, that
Yes.
Yeah.
400,000.
Yeah.
Y'all, I mean, it needs to be something.
There's not gonna be any perfect measure, but that's
Right.
like it would capture more accurately than what we're using now.
Yep,
Yeah. Yeah.
And you got another idea.
yeah.
No, unfortunately, I don't. I wish somebody.
How is that derived? That's through Titan software? The
No, it-
reports?
Well, it's our point of sale.
Yeah.
It's our point of sale, yeah.
So there's a.
Yeah, it's a Titan software,
Okay.
yeah, yeah.
What's it called?
What's our point of sale?
Right, but.
But it's not Atlas, is it? Atlas?
Yeah, it's Atlas, it's Atlas,
That's what I was.
Yeah.
which is then downloaded into Munis, which is really what we're
Is what
pulling
you're
from.
pulling from.
Right.
You're pulling from you.
We're pulling
Yeah.
from Munis, that's right.
Yeah.
We're pulling from Atlas.
So there are fees from it. Numbers of.
Yes, because we handle them, so there's baggage fees.
Including baggage and.
Yeah, baggage, air
Okay.
stairs, there's
Okay.
handling.
Well,
fees.
so every air stair, every baggage, that's all
That would
charter
be charged,
derived.
that'd be all charged.
Right,
Yeah.
so like just trying to think of, the granularity of something
Yeah,
that is
yeah.
only
Charged,
charter
right,
derived revenue.
yeah, so that would be baggage, air stairs, handling fees too.
Right, so maybe based on handling fees.
Yeah,
Number,
yeah,
and then you can,
and they are separated, like you have landing fees, baggage fees, and if we could just pull, like you said, just pull what we know is the charge
exactly, right,
related.
run a report in Atlas just
Yeah.
for what is total
Yeah.
baggage.
Fees, that
fees.
can be done.
And then,
So,
maybe not on a monthly, it's not worthwhile, but
Yeah.
quarterly, annually, whatever.
Yeah.
Just,
Quarterly when we do the review, yeah.
just pull that
Yeah,
out.
that would be a good way to do it.
so airport fees right now include lab fees, stairs, after hours fees, facilities fees, baggage handling, the auxiliary power unit, or ground power unit is really what it should be. Towing, ramp overnight. And that's it.
So it'd be
So stairs and baggage.
Yeah.
And does every charter employment we're talking about uses those two line items?
do, if they can,
Not a,
for chart.
well, right, but not just the 30+ passenger charters, not the.
Yeah, and they mostly come like in the RJs and 737s and Humber 145s. So those will all be air stairs and.
Right, but none of the wheels up stuff, none of the.
No, but Wheels Up, I mean, Wheels Up might get the smaller ones like a golf team or something like that,
As far as like being
being a
right,
charter.
yeah, they're only been.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, there may be a ramp fee that would be, but the problem too with that is
But then
Any
any,
charge ramp fees. though.
you're gonna check,
if you
you would
get,
have to tag that somehow differently than any other carrier that comes in.
Yeah,
that's right, that's exactly right.
Otherwise, you.
And the other thing is you're not capturing that because if someone got a minimum fuel order, then they're not charged a ramp fee.
So that,
you could still.
that from policy perspective, you should probably be charging and then discounting versus, from an accounting standpoint, charging that, discounting it back. So we're still showing the revenue and then totaling the discounts versus just omitting the charge.
For what?
If they buy fuel to waive the fee.
Oh, well, that's not for the charters. That's.
No, right, but,
Yeah.
but Devin was saying, if somebody in a King Air 300
Yeah,
comes in, you're not gonna know the difference between, somebody who that's their plane versus Wheels Up based on
you
the,
mean the ramp fee?
based on the bill. If you're running a report from Atlas,
No, the only way we could do that is if it's air stairs or baggage.
right,
And those are the two things we could use to
and then,
identify. the
and then
charter.
we just have to.
'Cause we don't-
we're missing out on
We
those
don't,
handful of small.
we just wanna identify, I guess, identify how you know, how it's growing. And with those two, the more revenue we have for those two, every single time, it shows it's growing.
I mean, it's kind of like a health, it's sort of like a health measure. You go to the doctor, there's maybe a couple of few things,
Yeah.
he's not measuring every single
Yeah.
thing.
The big picture thing here is that you feel like this will be a little more accurate than what you've been.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Yeah.
because we haven't
That's right,
captured
right,
all the employment.
so what are you saying, Mike? What's the, some?
Oh, air stairs and the baggage, handling, the baggage. Is that what it is, baggage on?
So
Every one of these should have some invoice attached, right? So,
Yeah,
you
the
know,
line item.
so, right.
Yeah.
So a $0 line item, that could just be a count line item that's, this is, you know, this is a charter $0 line item, and then run a count on that.
So here's a question, strategy 2.2, enhanced charter services. Does cargo fall under charter services as well? Just the way
We
it-
don't get a whole lot.
Yeah, Diane, on that, if you look at initiative 222, we got pursue cargo handling options, so.
Right,
Yeah.
so that's part of charter
That's
as well.
It can be, the reason we, back when we did all of this, so
Yeah,
there's airline regulations is part 121,
Yeah.
there's charter regulations, which is part 135. We opted not to use that terminology, so anybody reading this
okay,
could, but yes, there is part 135,
okay, as well as
cargo, just like there's.
charter for people, okay, all right,
Space, not precisely, but it's scheduled versus non-scheduled.
Okay.
Sort
all
of.
right.
So Devin, can you measure those new categories we were talking
Yeah.
about? And let me ask you, is it easy to tweak the, maybe, I don't know, even if it's just starting with the next fiscal year, 26, is it easy to tweak the finance report?
Yeah,
To,
absolutely.
so, peel that off so we can, it potentially, we just
Yeah,
go back with there.
Yeah, the finance report, so I mean, I manually do this finance report, so anything, it's, you know.
That GPT, man. Just teach it, tell it, export a CSV file.
I'll let you come in and train me how to do
You got
that.
3 months, buddy.
Yeah.
Then I start charging. My donation is coming up.
Um, but yeah, we can change that any way you want to.
And then,
So,
and
the
just like at
financial-
26, maybe we just make this goal here. We need to change this goal dollar amount to equal whatever
Right.
you've got in the budget that you would say it would be for that category, and
Yeah.
so that everything is in sync. And then, Mike, I think you said, as far as initiative 222 there, pursue cargo handling options, I know that's something you know, worked on.
Yeah,
I think you mentioned right there, you might have additional items also, but as far as with regarding cargo or the note there below about EV charging and so forth, anything else you want to add in before we go on to three?
I don't have anything additional on that, just that when RSNH has some time to sit down, you know, once they get some of this other stuff out of the way, that I'd like to have some of that designed, you know, some locations identified that we can use.
Okay. All right, anything else, before we go to three? Let's see, three is general aviation experience, better serve customers, increase revenue. Let's see, strategy 3.1 is identifying enhanced facilities, products, services, increase annual operations to 50,000. Let's see, where are we now, Mike, with operations, would you say, for this current year?
Your operations is 27,000 right now, year to date,
So
a
we're.
little over 27.
Yeah, so we're not gonna get to 50,000 for this year.
Yeah, I think our budget was 42,000. Is what we budgeted for this year.
Do we need to adjust that 50,000?
Yeah, I would say so. We're slowly increasing, but not quite
We're
there.
gonna go ahead and set a number for 26, being kind of consistent with what we just did up there on the charter dollar amounts, since we're near the end of this year.
You could put 50. I mean, football season's gonna be crazy.
What,
A lot of good home games.
Yeah, yeah.
okay, go with 50,
Let's
just
do it.
leave the 50,
Let's do
okay.
it.
Uh, Let's see, again, self-service, that was completed back in 24, parent issue RFI for destination, that's all dependent on commercial service. And strategy 3.2, assess, yeah, go ahead.
Second, I was looking for, I seem to remember we had the issue of an RFI for a restaurant. And I thought actually we had initially had it under goal 4, because it applies, you know, on the next goal as well, the community engagement and everything, you look down to the next goal. But then I thought, you know, we still have it here. But we don't cross-reference things in the schools too.
Yeah,
Yeah. Well, it is a general education experience.
Yeah, and it's also a community engagement thing, so
I
it
would,
requires both.
I mean, that,
I'd take that.
I mean, I almost
Where would
leave,
you want?
yeah, I almost leave it in 3 there, since that's the first of the 2.
Yeah.
You know, when we get down to restaurant or whatever, that, the go forward, we're not asking what about, and, you know, there would be at the bottom or something.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're all right with that.
Yeah, no, that's fine, that's just a point.
Uh,
Take it out, and then I see, no, we didn't take it out, it's in the,
yeah,
okay.
then let's see, 3.2 is design and build hangars to meet the demand, and Mike, I think, right there, we're at design, potential this year, still as a goal, anyway, build in 26. And, develop plant, next one is develop plans for the east side hangar area, Mac, you know what we're talking about there, we're talking about the east side. This general area. Develop plans for east side hangar area, we've had a lot of input on that, including potential for T hangars and other uses, and just got that is, you know, that's develop plans. We got it in 26. Anything else in 3? Goal 4, this is connecting to the community, businesses, customers, various organizations, to build goodwill for the community and so forth. So this one, 4.1, implement strategies for marketing, community outreach and engagement. Just have a number of initiatives there. 4.1 is publish annual report. We got target time of May 25. I think that we still, based on yesterday, still, that would be your target. 4.1.2, develop a content management plan for quarterly newsletter, social media. That's an ongoing effort. Any questions on that? 4.1.3 is pursue local partnerships, economic development agencies, with economic development agencies, business leaders, community groups is also ongoing. 4.1.4 is promote the airport's community engagement by, and I think this is one, Diane, where you were gonna, note, you and Mike were gonna get together.
We predicted that, didn't we?
Not yet.
So you wanna still,
But that's where the whole restaurant OFI is involved, and everything comes in there.
Yeah.
Yeah,
so Diane, you wanna still take it to connect with Mike on that one?
yeah, I think we should, I don't think we should drop those, they're in there.
Yeah.
And as things evolve, you know, sometimes it's sort of, you know, see.
Yeah.
You want a target, roughly target month or something for y'all to kick it off anyway,
We'll
or?
get that and discuss it.
Yeah, I mean, I think we can review.
And which one is that? That's the,
It's,
4.1.4,
it's all those under 4.1.4.
yeah,
we
do that in timeline.
could. One thing I was telling Keith, you know, is one of the things we had to get past was the Alpha project, that we didn't want a lot of airplanes backpacks, and so we're kind of past that, so yes, we definitely can talk about it.
Okay.
Let's say,
Launch. Let's say, what time period do you want to launch?
Oh,
Summer,
yeah,
25?
that'd be good.
Okay. Yeah, we can do that.
all right,
But then you was gonna have some other things coming and finish like this lost application.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you wanna add by review.
Yep.
Potential projects or something like that by summer 25?
Yeah,
Okay.
all right, and then goal, 5 is basically our financial targets.
Yeah.
All these goals need to kind of be in sync with the city or, work, roll down process and things, so. Achieve and maintain financial self-sufficiency, and as we were talking earlier with the financials, I think all these are going, well based on that. I know, Mike, you, study rates of prices of services and fuel prices on a regular basis, monitor expenses, all those. Anything you want to comment on that?
Just to add, I think most of you know, we update our fuel prices. It's about every Tuesday, the rack rates we get. And so then we do check with probably 20 different airports and see where they are. We know where we need to be. If I can go up a little bit more, I will. If I can come down a little bit more, I will. But we try to stay consistent and competitive.
Let's see, goal 6, create employee development culture to improve employees' competencies and skills. Also increase safety and customer service. This is one, interjected into all departments, right, Mike, by Athens-Clarke County a year ago, so we added that in. And you have a lot of things that are required and automatic, like the first one there, continue to meet, FAA requirements and so forth, it's, we have to do, and I think we're on track with that. Any comments?
No, I don't think we're doing good on that.
Are they changing? I bet they're changing it.
But they may be. Yeah,
We'll hear about it.
yeah.
That's it. There we got, we good with the,
I have to say that this could be redundant. Thanks again, Pete.
thank y'all.
Keep on it all the time, so it's really appreciated. But you see now, because it's so streamlined, it's easy to go through it. And
Yeah, it is.
update and recheck, so it's a lot better than it used to be.
Yeah.
Thank you. So, what about Ops Committee, anything? Mike, you might have to say about the,
Do I?
Just,
I don't know, the last thing we looked at was the Gaines School Road project.
Oh, that, yeah.
Yeah, there.
Yeah,
I went through everything. When did we talk about the library?
yeah, so it was very informal. It wasn't in a meeting. It wasn't in our meeting.
Okay,
It was just talking about, but it was very informal. It wasn't even to the point where it was coming to us at all.
Yeah.
But, and I was trying to think back after you had sent that email, like, okay, when did I find out about it? I think I found out about it when one of the commissioners had, texted me and asked about it, maybe. And I
About the
didn't,
library.
yeah, in that location, and I didn't really know anything about it, but then I did add, in that text that, yeah, it's in a location that's in our approach, and, we can't really do anything with it, it's in the overlay. But since then, that's been a couple of years, so since then, things have changed a little bit, things are a little more lenient, and I think I sent the letter or the email, that I sent.
yeah, the whole ordinance changed.
Yeah, everything changed.
As a
Yeah.
result of
Yeah.
that being a constant issue.
Yeah.
But even still, if they permit to us, I don't.
Yeah. No, they never,
I don't know
and I didn't
why.
want you to,
Anybody would be upset about something they never came in
I-
front of,
I know, it was kind of weird,
Be-
um,
more than anything, even when the ordinance was standing in play, we did everything we could
yeah,
to really leave it back to the mayor and commission.
right.
Even when we found flaw, it was found flaw because of this in the ordinance.
Yeah.
And that's basically what we're telling back to the mayor and commission who would have ultimate override, so.
Well, I think it was brought up in meetings I wasn't in downtown, and then it was shot down. And then they came to me and said, why can't we do this? And that's where I said, well, we can't because, and so it never got here. you know, but informally it was going through those channels.
Right, but they're the ones that decided it.
Oh, that's it, that's what it is, you know? That's
So,
what it is.
you know, it's,
We're just recommending, you know?
And our recommendation can be overridden. to-
on anything, on absolutely anything, for better or for worse.
What I don't know about, at least they got us both from both directions.
Well,
You know, that we have a tiny little recommendation that can be shot down on two different levels. And then it was never even brought to us, but then we get accused.
right, yeah,
It's hitting us from both directions.
I don't know enough to publicly say the way I think I feel right now. But if my term here was longer than the next 3 months, I'd look into it and I might be very upset that if what I think I understood from the emails was that a commissioner or commissioners were blaming.
You can get on the.
I can walk, again, if I was right, I agree
I was a little
completely, you know, that, you know, but we are on this authority to donate our civic abilities to take a load off of them, and if there's an issue, then, you know, it should be brought to us and not in public forum to them. And just like you know, I'm not saying that there's an issue, but from what I understand about what I read, that's kind of upsetting that the authority as a whole, and particularly, you know, the committee that I've done what I can do to promote both the airport's ability to exist, grow, maintain its level of protection while also balancing that with the city's ability to exist, grow, and maintain its level of protection. It's just upsetting that there's seemingly an accusation there without any basis.
Well, I think it's a serious accusation. I don't take kindly to being accused, or we as a group, to being accused of what we were. And we actually, as a group, have no way to rebut that accusation. And, you know, I'm not leaving in 3 months,
Right.
but I agree with you, and I don't take kindly to being accused of that. You had, you know, you wrote back a strong rebuttal, but we actually didn't get a chance to rebut it.
No,
I'm not suggesting we do this, you know, some people might say, oh, don't stop raising hell.
I was,
But, you know, one strategy could be or could have been is to request a meeting and say, I think we need some cards on the table about what our wherewithal is in essence. And, you know, review the process once again, that, you know, something's gonna come up and people are gonna get blamed. Where's the due process? If you want us to comment on it, there's fair. You might be
Right,
expecting this.
No, I
it never even got that far.
Exactly, well, and
It should.
it's just kind of so silly that if the mayor and commission decided they wanted to do something with or without the airport authority, they have the power to do that. So it's almost like they used us as a scapegoat for something that they may not have wanted to do. I don't know. Like I said, I would be if it were a year ago, I'd be much more invested into learning all the facts, and I certainly, you know, implore anybody who wants to, at this point, you know, I have no problem with any commissioner in general, but I think that the way it appears was a misstep and inappropriately so.
Because if it came here and we voted on it, okay, I could see, but it never came here. And the thing was, you know, it was all.
Even if it comes here and we voted on it, yes or yay or nay, it's still, the next step is to go right back to them.
Yeah.
Where they can say, all right, well, you know, so be it. So,
I don't like the fact that we were accused of something that's serious and we haven't everybody to do about it. I don't like that. I've only just been labeled chair again. So when I spoke to you about it, you know, I made the point, I said, but I'm on chair, so it's hypothetical. But I really don't appreciate it. That's a serious accusation, having a double standard.
Well, and anybody that anybody that only reads what may or may not be picked up from the minutes or the broadcast, any news, it may look at it as a grievance against the airport, as a grievance against the airport authority, as, a reason to sharpen pitchforks. And
Well,
I
that's
feel
why
like
I'm-
that's,
But honestly, if you look at it, I mean, I totally agree, but if you look at it the other way, it's kind of interesting that they are taking it serious. Okay, if it was internal and I said, no, you really can't do that, and then it was relayed to a commissioner that, no, airport, you can't do that because the airport says you can't. And they agree to that, that's kind of nice that they would do that, but
But it's very negative.
yeah, but then they come back.
if I'm gonna be used as a scapegoat like that,
Yeah.
then I'm
No,
gonna be, I wanna
totally
be
something
given,
different. Yeah,
I should be privy to that information
Yeah.
upfront.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there's no due process in it, when you get accused of something or you're scapegoated.
Well,
And you.
and blindsided,
Yeah. Yeah.
hey, we didn't do this because of something that we think you may have said about it. That's,
Well, it's not over yet.
I-
But, one of the commissioners that in question, has never been above calling me, and as you know, always asking for information, always wanting to chat about things. This may well come up again. It's not over yet. But I mean, I just don't think that it's very cool that we.
I don't think
accused
there
of
should be
something.
ever an adversarial sort of relationship between the MNC and us or any other body, Certainly, there can be heated discussion, and we have different viewpoints, and that's why we exist as boards, but
Well, then they asked for the meeting with us.
but in this circumstance, it's like, hey, we're just gonna blame those people. Again, I'm saying all of that without knowing more of the facts than what I read and inferred by the emails. And sadly, it was that I couldn't find more of the facts because
There wasn't.
They were.
there was
No.
there was nothing else that would have come through these meetings.
Yeah.
And as disappointing as that was, I was almost hoping that I just had forgotten about something that I at one point said and could have defended, but I have no way to defend myself. It wasn't an opportunity. I had no opportunity.
I mean, we worked here at Flat, you said in your rebuttal, and I added as well, I mean, I remember the informal discussion, we also talked about the fact that overlays are on the side, it was also the noise issue. That you went to the library with trains taking on and off all the time and everything, but it never came to us as,
But it
like
never, I don't
yourselves.
think it ever was, I don't see it in any minutes.
It
I don't think it was ever discussed in a meeting.
Unless
It may have
I'm
been
forgetting, but I don't remember it ever coming to us. I mean, it was an email, it was a text. I think I got a text.
Yeah,
That's what I got 2 years
and one
ago.
thing from now.
And it was a Saturday too, so.
On that committee, we're gonna be very diligent in what we put in our minutes about what our decision is, one way or the other.
Well, and
Yeah.
and a lot of times I feel like, speaking to that, I feel like a lot of times we do feel some amount of pressure from, planning takes time, carves time out of their schedule to come here,
Yeah.
discuss things and, and I understand from, that allotment of time side of things. I also understand from, the people that are the builders in these cases. They have time and money every day costs them dollars, not getting through the process. And, it may be worthwhile, for that committee to have more, not just wait these 3 weeks, 4 weeks in between meetings, so they can discuss and can get things done. Because, I went through that personally with historic, and, you get, it's 45-day agenda setting and this, that, and the other. It's like, all right, well, it's not like life and dollars stop for the 3 months that it's gonna take until the next time I can come into a meeting. So I think that being rational, we could hold special meetings for cases like that, or just committee meetings with planning, or, maybe even, and sorry, I'm volunteering for some of this. Being partially out the door, but, they don't necessarily have to come here. We could potentially go there or a Zoom call or whatever, I get it. Some of those things need to move faster than 1 month intervals. And I feel like I've been pressured at times to, make some sort of assessment based on what I'm seeing in front of me, which is always gonna be like this is the, all of the, the beauty show aspect of it, but, that sort of the process, I think may need some fine tuning there. But again, kudos to planning for hearing us out on what needed to change on the.
Yeah, and they really do care to work with us.
That
They really
makes
do.
it very simple
Yeah.
to
Wanna work.
say, hey, this may work or this absolutely won't work, and most things should work.
Do you remember we had that meeting when Brad came here and we all nailed down the fact that there was a need to not be rushed and be given stuff a day before our meeting? No time to look at it.
Well, and I
They're trying to
get
be
it from
conscious.
there, you're right, and I think they are, and Mike will get those things out to me, I can see the timestamps, he gets them, and within a day,
Yeah,
I get the forwarded email, so usually within a few minutes or hours of the initial timestamp, so that's not the issue. The issue is that, well, if that's a day before our meeting, either planning feels rushed to get it to us because they know our next meeting is, hey, it's only on Tuesday. Well, if they know that, hey, the operations committee can meet at any time schedule, hold a special meeting, and as an authority, we'd be willing, for 2 years, or whatever, we met only on Zoom, and
yeah.
just, hey, we need a special motion to pass sort of, meeting. I'd hate to be a, bureaucratic holdup to people's business and lives and financial, too much matters, especially, that's a several acre, just that is a several acre development. There's a lot of real money getting tied up by inaction. That's my piece.
I'm just glad we voted on Mac before we had this.
Oh, yeah, you're stuck.
That's why it's a good opportunity for him.
Well,
I never dealt with anything controversial in the FAA.
No, different time. The other thing is that it actually looks like it was only those two commissioners.
Think so.
Not
In that meeting,
all
you
of
mean?
them.
Let's-
And, then you get into that level of politics as well, and that is that it's been a real bugbear with that one commissioner that wrote you a couple of years ago.
Hmm.
And so, we got slammed with an accusation by one or two that have got a real thing in their craw about the library industry. Not all the commissioners. Which is just another dimension, But I think, what David is saying is true, and that is we need to go back to having much more detailed, focused documentation of whatever is and isn't brought in front of us, and the rationale for whatever the recommendation is.
if they don't tell us about it, it's gonna be hard for us to know that it wasn't brought to us, so,
On for the negative, but
I
what
wonder
is,
how far they think
I
it went.
would like it reflected in the minutes that it was never brought to us.
yeah, I think, Devin, can you put that, we'll work on the
He's doing
board.
that right now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think so.
Cause the way they discussed it, it was like it was brought to us.
Yeah.
But it really, it wasn't.
Well, I'll go back through the.
I looked through, I don't recall it ever being on any agenda. I didn't find it on any minutes. I didn't see it in any emails looking for library, looking for those address, usually you.
For us being asked to vote for a recommendation.
Right, so if they have a recommendation that I made or that our.
It was a
committee
comment.
made,
That I made on a test.
Right,
And really, that's where it all came from.
Yeah.
And then somebody took it from there
well,
and said no.
Very cool, that she does too, about the library. But they gone and picked a place and gone and chose.
I
it.
like libraries.
Well, I know. It's not cool what they did to us.
Yeah, right. No, yeah,
There's some, right there.
and, you know, in everything, you know, not to necessarily speak to myself, but everything I feel like the committee has done in reviewing these things has been as much as possible to absolve any feeling
Yeah.
for what the project is. And, you know, does it meet the ordinance? Does it impact the local area negatively, having an airport nearby? Does it impact the airport negatively, having this nearby? So I can't see of any reason why, you know, sure, it should have been discussed. But I can't see any reason why any library that I'm thinking of could have possibly resulted in us saying anything other than the standard. Make sure the lighting in the parking lot is angled downward, make sure there's no reflective.
If it came here, it probably would have been a whole different result, you know, but, you know,
Right.
because,
You know,
you know,
maybe they were scared away.
I'm
but
just
that's-
telling you what the ordinance says, you know.
Yeah,
That doesn't mean it's,
by,
you know,
by virtue of the ordinance existing, it has to come here.
yeah.
But, you know, there are projects that I've certainly not liked that I hope we've, you know, personally, but it's not a personal thing. It's fairly, you know.
We have to look at the process because they were looking at this, you know, that site game school and they had 4 or 5 different sites. And they were going round and round in circles about those different sites for the library. You actually had to look and see, because that was the commissioners, it was not the planning department, it wasn't Brad Griffin and people. Because you said he didn't have anything to say about it, negative to you,
You mean at this,
Brad,
at the meeting?
yeah, about.
Oh, no, he, I mean, he probably would have spoken up, but, you know, there was really nothing, you know, that was, spoken to him, you know.
Yeah,
about
but he
it, so.
wasn't chiming in with them, accusing
No.
you and I.
Oh, no, Brad wasn't.
So, I mean, I thought we'd have a good and repaired relationship with the planning people.
Yeah, oh, yeah, we do.
I believe that.
They're great. They're great. They want to work with us and they do work with us.
They, one time I remember them saying something like, hey, why do you reject everything? And the response was,
Remember
this, and this is why, and they said, oh, let's work together and fix it.
Yeah,
Was the meeting when Brad.
Perfect. they've been wanting me to change that ever since I got here. But it's like, you know, I can't when you guys are voting on it. They really need to come and talk to you folks, you know, it's you guys hang out, but,
Lessons learned, but,
yeah.
I don't know, it's not over yet. You might be leaving, but it's not over yet.
I don't hold grudges. I've got a good memory.
We'll see. But,
It was disappointing to read that, you know.
Yeah, it was,
I
it
don't,
was
I
hard
don't
to
ever want
watch.
anybody
It
in
was hard
the
to
city
watch.
to look at this place, you know, the airport,
Yeah.
the authority as being anything but helpful to the community.
Yeah.
And it was disappointing to get that.
Well, I was on it because of the ARF truck. I want to make sure. And then, you know, I was doing some other stuff, working, you know, and then I was listening to it and all of a sudden, you know, I heard, I'm thinking, what? You know, really? I just couldn't believe it.
Thank you. I'm glad you did. I'm glad you responded to it. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. I don't know how well it did, but. So,
well, I guess we need to move on, because we just have a couple of other items. Mike, is there anything that we don't have anything about airstrips development right now?
no, I'm talking to some, well, I'm talking to one company right now, but I just, you know, I'll continue to talk and hopefully somebody will buy it.
And then actually, unless there's anything else on the committee reports, the next meeting is scheduled for the 22nd of April. Any difficulty with that for everybody? We're such a small group, we have to stick together.
Yeah.
We're scheduled, our next meeting is 22nd of April, right?
Birthday.
Yeah.
Because
You know what, I'm gonna be out of town, Do you want to try to tweak a little bit? Is that okay? I mean, could we make it,
29?
yeah, could we make it 29th? So I'll have to go.
You're up there.
I'll be out of town. I'll be out of town that week, yeah. But I don't need to be here, Devin can be. You gonna be here on the 29th? Yeah, so I don't need to be. If that works for you.
Either.
We're on Tuesday.
It doesn't always have to be a Tuesday.
Yeah.
Yeah, what about Thursday, the 24th
Yeah.
or something?
4th of April,
Yeah.
Thursday. Gavin, does that work for you? David? All right, so we want to change it then to Thursday, the 24th, because that'll have to be published.
Yeah, can you let, Denise know, I guess?
All right? Are we all agreed on that then? Thursday, the 24th of April, same time, same place. Okay? Gavin, you got that? Okay.
All right.
Well, actually, is there something else? Do I hear the motion to end this meeting, Keith?
Second.
Okay, all in favor? Okay, all right, what covers that? That's it.
Something, just. No, you were just, you're just enjoying your seat back there.
Thank you.
Okay.
I don't know if she's coming back, though.
The 24th, that's fine.
Yeah.
All right, it's 4:52 PM, meeting's closed.
Appreciate the comment.
Yeah.